Hi, welcome back to my channel. So I feel like I've just been so absent on loads of videos recently, and I went through like a massive phase when I first started off YouTube where like I was just like posting, and it really like helped me grow as a person, to be fair. So I do think sometimes just to have like rambly catch-up videos and stuff, it actually can be really helpful just and fun to do, and I feel like I'm doing one of those today. So, because I don't want it to like be too repetitive, but at the same time, sometimes life is just like nothingness, do you know what I mean? And it's like super chill, and that is like actually a part of life. And with the lunar phases, you can have your portions of time, and I try and like really get in touch with that as much as I can, and use my like my crystals and stuff to charge them, so I'm like really in touch with like my cycles and stuff, because like literally there is actually times where you're supposed to be reflecting, and there are supposed to be times where you're supposed to like plan your manifestations, and there are other times where like, you know, you reap the benefits and things like that. And if we're going to just completely use a societal myth of it being quiet and there not actually being much going on as a reason to not make a video, I feel like I would not be going against the nature of this channel, which is really to try and do life on a video. So the quiet times are the best times, and if anything, I would argue that when it gets quiet is the best time as to not involve myself with any drama and be very grateful and have gratitude. I think that is actually a phase of the lunar cycles, to ground. I don't really feel like I've spoken about this a lot, you know, having gratitude and grounding yourself in the good things, and reflecting, I suppose, in part on things of the past, and I feel like trying to begin to manifest new things, because sometimes I definitely feel like, I think it's like a fact that if you are stressed and you don't take that time to reset and have that like calming time, it's a case where you don't have that creative like charge to for the new, do you know what I mean? You know, and like having stages of like long prolonged periods of time doing things, and obviously different experiences to like change your life and going with that, and like having rest times within different experiences, fine. But it's like with that, it's like you will inevitably manifest new experiences through those changes. And I think when a lot of things are the same for a very long time, for example, say if you're single for a very long time, I think it's very much like you manifest a particular amount of things that align with your circumstances, be that singlehood or anything else. Like if you're single, you'll manifest things to do with day dates for yourself, or, you know, going and meeting new people and spending time with yourself and growing and learning things about yourself and blah blah blah. All good to do whether you're in a relationship or not, is what I found. But I think when you are going through different things in life, it's actually also good to align with things, or being aware that you will naturally align with things that are in part aligned with your new circumstances. Yeah, and I think that's like necessary, because I think it's necessary to acknowledge, because it sounds like super obvious, but really it's not, because I think given the world and how it's been in in Pisces, where we look externally, we've just gone through like a massive Pisces retrograde, and it's really thrown me off a little bit, because it's really like taken me to like the past like astrological era where like we have literally passed that. We are solidly in Aquarius. We look to ourselves for guidance now, and you know, that retrograde just gave me a reminder of like, yes, Pisces is done now until the next however fuck hundreds of years till it comes back round. But the point being, you know, when the, you know, when, oh, brain fart. When you get to the place where you are looking at things as an opportunity, I've literally done a video on this ages ago using negativity as a springboard, but like I think it helps creativity in your mind. Your mind is a neuroplastic object like muscle, let's refer to it as an object, and you know, I feel like it's very aligned with the universe. I think it's like really a manifestation of the universe, the way each of our brains work. It's a little universe within itself, do you know what I mean, which is connected to the whole. And I think if you're going to look at opportunities to only come externally, I think it's really powerful for a manifestation actually to look at your circumstances as a grounding and a soil, if you will, for planting in the new moon season, if you want to go lunar cycles on it, new opportunities, because realistically those ideas have to come from somewhere. And obviously I'm definitely a believer like those things will manifest into life in whatever way they should, and they will inevitably if they're supposed to. But I think when it comes to expanding your creativity, because being creative myself and like going through like lots of situations where I've like grown my creativity and everything, like educationally and courses and blah blah blah, it is a skill really, and it's a pathology to grow your creativity and to look at things with a lens of opportunity and create ideas for yourself. Because unless you've got some like amazing, and I'm not saying this doesn't exist, I'm sure it does somewhere on the internet, obviously we pick up things from other people, and this is part of the list of things that you will inevitably come into interaction with to bring those opportunities to you. But I also think like seeing someone else do it is one thing, but I also think like when let's try and keep my camera from getting too hot. I also think like when you can, I was going to say if there's some sort of like bucket list dictionary online somewhere where you can like learn from those things, because I'm not being funny, like the older I get as well, sometimes I'm just like, oh my god, where has my youth gone? But realistically we all die at some point, and we all will die at some point. And it's really just like, I feel like really important to just like use your level of youth and freedom when you have it, because God only knows new opportunities come around and new situations come around which hinder your opportunities and hinder your life experiences and the possibilities of that. And I also think as well, on top of that, you get like a lot of like external feedback from like other people that like really like hinder your abilities to look to yourself and look to what you want, because you can actually internalize a fuck ton of other people's toxicity, negativity and delusion and paranoia and stuff like that, or just their need for dominance or whatever, to get to the place where you actually don't feel like it's necessary for you to level up and stuff. Like I'm really trying to find a balance within that, but I definitely think there is a place for just like not really, no, actually I would argue that's a lie. I think it's always important, especially well in life in general. It's a very rich experience, life in general, but when you are not engaging in it in a fruitful way and you're not naturally like opening your mind up to the fruit and opening your experience and your path up to the fruit, it can be bland. And like if you make it bland, but it's like if you make it bland, I would argue you are the only one that's making it bland. Like you are not seeking out new opportunities, and this is one of the things that is actually within our own control and within our own locus of control. And then it's really easy to get very resentful and bitter towards the world, because you're like, oh, I've not got this opportunity, like I've not leveled, I've not worked on myself in this way, I've not done this thing, I've not done that thing, I've not experienced this thing, I've not gone, and I'm not saying that like people's circumstances don't, you know, influence what you manifest and what you have time and everything to manifest because of your circumstances or whatever. It can hinder that, and you can have really negative circumstances that really limit your capacity in different ways. But life is a series of cycles and stuff for you to continue building your empire and moving into the things that you're supposed to move into. And at the end of the day, it's the little things, I would argue it's the little things that build to get you to a place where you can find the fruit in different places. And when you don't look for the fruit and when you don't build the small fruit, if you don't gain the small fruits, you won't gain the big fruits in a way. But I think even like, I think another way of looking at it is what I've noticed is, oh, if we overpower the heat of this camera may turn off, which I will have to then continue with, or in the video. But if you don't look at the small fruit, if you don't, it's the small things sometimes, when the small things all add up, then it leads to something bigger. And it's not necessarily maybe you can manifest from big to small, or you can manifest from small to big, but I think don't like not to put like limits on the little things, when the little things are the necessary things. And even like when things, I would argue, move in a new direction, like you can be like disappointed by your circumstances, but then it's like you have to see it as an opportunity for growth, and you have to adapt. You have to be like, right, I don't know if like the best way to do that is like look at what you're lacking, or look what you feel that you're lacking, and then learn how to like fill those gaps, because that's like part of the skills of life as an adult, do you know what I mean, and adapting to situations. And as I always like say, like trauma survivors, they will go through that. But my camera is going to turn off very soon, so I feel like rather than just like rambling on forever, I will let it be where it is. But hopefully this has been helpful for me to watch back, and that will therefore get uploaded. I think it is just one of those things, like not to limit the small things. The small things matter, the small things are everything. But when life changes, it's just like really hard to adapt to them, especially if you're like a creature of habit like myself. But it's all about the balance, and sometimes we have to build new habits, and that is hard. It is really hard to build new habits, and it's really hard to, it's good to make new ideas, but sometimes that can be hard as well. And you have to search them out, and you have to allow yourself to figure out what that is. And that's where the lunar cycles come around every month, for us to have those opportunities. Thank you, universe. So thanks for listening.